This week on his radio show, Howard Stern defended wokeism, saying it's a compliment when someone calls him woke. Listen.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call me woke as you want. I'm not for stupidity, but I am woke, motherfucker, and I love it.
Oh dear, he swore. He swore that'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons.
Well, I know some of them, and like Howard, I was on Howard Stern's show as much as anybody, and
yeah.
he was great at that time, and then he went woke.
Yeah.
And since he's gone woke,
in addition to selling out, Howard Stern praised the audience for coming, included a complimentary gift bag, and auctioned off his legacy. Donald Trump and Greg Gutfeld arrive with jokes, receipts, and no compassion. In a world he once set on fire for sport, Stern, the uncrowned king of controversy, now portrays a neutered hall monitor. Trump rushes in like a sarcastic wrecking ball, while Gutfeld slashes deep with mockery. Together, they headline Stern's fall rather than merely criticizing it. This is a roast masquerading as a eulogy, so forget about redemptive arcs.
Weird, because he criticizes Trump for dividing the country, and then he says he hates his supporters. So he's not learning from his own analysis. I think he might have turned into the thing he hated. He needs to go back and watch the movie Private Parts and focus on how he portrayed Don Imus, because he's kind of turned into Don Imus in a way. It's a mix of ego and
Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, It was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like so.
Once the radio industry's unrepentant renegade, Howard Stern is now in full meltdown mode, which is equal parts tragedy and irony. A pearl-clutching, gated community scold who, pointing fingers at dissent, the man who once used a microphone as a weapon against uniformity has turned into a parody of everything he once ridiculed. It's like witnessing a legendary figure from punk rock become president of the PDA in an instant. If there was a mascot for hypocrisy, it would be Stern. He no longer opposes the system. Rather, he is it, slinking into popular discourse as if he were attempting to land a soft-focus CNN spot.
But that's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine. Or hearing Kat talk about her pets.
That's fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is walking all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court and back.
Greg Gutfeld only needed a mirror to expose the contemporary Howard Stern. He didn't need a monologue. The entire story, a firebrand turned fog machine, is conveyed by that reflection alone. This system reboot, which is based on fear, double standards, and enough hand sanitizer to drown a spine, is not evolution. Next comes Trump, who speaks like a bald eagle brandishing a sledgehammer rather than with finesse. Now, Trump's name-dropping of Stern is not motivated by rage, but rather by perplexity, like a legendary rock star who notices the wedding DJ and asks, "Weren't you someone once?"
Opposite of woke to me is asleep, and I think I'm awake. This must have gotten Trump all charged up, because at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, technically Sunday morning, he starts tweeting out, Howard Stern is a broken loser, jerk off, not loyal, the usual, tirade. And I thought to myself, I'll tell you my thought on it was, what?
Instead of simply losing his edge, Howard Stern asked for a receipt, wrapped it as a present, and turned it in. The same guy who used to make late-night hosts perspire now gets permission before putting soup in the microwave. Howard was a live wire in those days, and radio executives avoided him like a ticking time grenade. Today, at a Hells Angels reunion, he makes Joy Behar appear to be Sam Kinnison's opening act. Whatever it is, it lacks edginess. It is bubble wrapped for mass consumption, pre-approved, and pre-sanitized.
Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, John Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with the letter.
Greg Gutfeld only points to Howard Stern's demise, akin to a comedian mocking a pretentious Oscar speech, without even stretching. He smirks. This was the rebel. On the same yacht decks where he used to mock celebrities for being out of touch, the same man is now clinking champagne glasses. Howard is cleaning the club's trophies in addition to joining it. The man who used to drag egos through the dirt now brings them pool towels. To make matters worse, he is afraid of cancellation, of opposition, of the digital pitchforks and hashtag-wielding internet mob that may be waiting outside his mansion.
I know him very well. I was on the show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged. Very challenged.
That mob is probably real, to be fair. The Howard of old, however, would not have recoiled. Instead, he would have challenged them to attempt and then stepped up. The version of today, he's out here expressing his preemptive regret for jokes he hasn't even told. That is regression, not maturity. It's Benjamin Button in public relations. Then there's Trump, who is seeing Stern's demise with the amusement of a lion who hears a declawed cat attempt to roar. Even throwing punches is not necessary for him. Simply being in the same universe causes Stern to have yet another predetermined breakdown. The man would never toast bread without first consulting the gluten-free lobby because he is so afraid of offending anyone. Gutfeld, on the other hand, destroys Stern's new character with the charm of your smartest, inebriated friend and the smug accuracy of 10 Ivy League debaters. Not only for being phony, but also for engaging in the biggest sin of the media, boredom. If nothing else, liars keep you wondering. Stern, he has turned into a reenactment of his own treachery, seeing someone who formerly pushed limits and now requests permission slips is almost painful. The system is currently being knitted by the same person who turned it off.
So vote for that wall over there.
Well, he's half right. We do need a wall. To keep out gang members, fentanyl dealers, human traffickers, and Anna Navarro. What's funny, though, is that Stern actually thought that was a compliment. Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that he knows she's as dumb as...
Never one to miss a punchline. Greg Gutfeld says that Howard Stern's microphone ought to have a seatbelt, a trigger warning, and an apology handbook that has been approved by the company. It seems as though HR has dry cleaned and steam pressed every broadcast for safety. And those renowned interviews, you would think he was examining lab-grown bugs in a biohazard suit, since the once raw, unexpected showdowns have become so sanitized. Here comes Trump, hurling taunts from a distance without faltering. He sees Stern as a fading relic, trying to maintain his relevance by hugging the same celebrities he once disparaged, rather than as a threat. Trump doesn't even need to attack the core. To start a laugh track, he only needs to mention Stern's new A-list friends by name. Because, let's face it, Howard has turned into everything he once destroyed. Rolling out the carpet for Hollywood's most over-recycled takes, he moved from roast master to welcome mat. In order to get approval, the man who used to bite the hands who fed him now licks boots. Not expensive boots, but the generic ones from the elite validation cheap bin.
Find that his definition of wokeism is very simplistic. I mean, it's like, it's not about COVID jabs.
I didn't get that either. He was like, I love the vaccine. I'm woke.
It's not unlike Howard Stern. I mean, talk about a transition. On Tuesday, he conducted an interview with Kamala Harris that was so simpering and feminine, I got my period while listening to it.
The worst part is that Howard still believes he is a rebel. He honestly thinks he can gain cultural street cred by mumbling, I used to be wild. It's like a man in a leather jacket delivering uninvited pub fight stories at a retirement community. Gutfeld, on the other hand, cuts him apart like a media surgeon, punchline in one hand and scales in the other. He doesn't need to make things up. Stern has turned into a caricature of himself. Every idea is now subjected to a mental focus group by the man who invented and censored radio. Watching a punk band get back together to perform lift songs is like that. You recognize the faces. The fire has extinguished. Gutfeld, on the other hand, cuts him apart like a media surgeon, punchline in one hand and scales in the other. He doesn't need to make things up. Stern has turned into a caricature of himself. Every idea is now subjected to a mental focus group by the man who invented and censored radio. Watching a punk band get back together to perform lift songs is like that. You recognize the faces. The fire has extinguished. What about the ratings? Let's avoid going there at all. Once the radio industry's holy grail, Stern stats are now just a depressing bullet item on a PowerPoint slide that no intern wants to show. The audience remained. They changed. The act was exposed by them. Howard's supporters remained. For a positive Yelp review from a celebrity cocktail party, he exchanged them.
I watched them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you. I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh my God.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now. I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about. This is a guy who once joked right after the Columbine massacre that the killers should have raped the students before killing them. Not that I like that.
Comedic napalm, the kind that only burns when infused with truth, is how Greg Gutfeld sums it all up. He's shedding light on the emptiness left by Stern's fall, not only making fun of it. The quiet doesn't only reverberate when the loudest voice in the media begins to whisper. It indicts. Howard used to cause trouble. He tiptoes now. He used to question everything. He now consults law. The previously unpredictable brand has solidified into something so secure and scripted that it could be programmed into a smartwatch. His terror is evident in everything he does, including associating with yes men, cozying up to the media, and sacrificing his genuineness in exchange for plaudits from the privileged box seats. He is now attempting to fit in with the discourse rather than take the lead. And that's not a pivot for a man who made his fortune by being unique. It's a funeral. Trump, on the other hand, doesn't even blink. Will Howard give him a lecture? A helium balloon calling out to a tank is analogous to that. Stern clings to an old-fashioned version of himself as if it still mattered, and then drifts away after one puff of genuine conversation. This moment would have become a flamethrower in the old Howard's mind. The most recent one, he is inquiring with his producers about the safety of starting a fight. This is self-erasure, not growth.